This is Julia,
And I'm Claudia.
and we're going to talk a little bit about the ESPA recruitment process and the documentation process. So the first part is going to be about our recruitment process, and the second part is going to be about the documents that you need to come to the UK. So we are a United Kingdom-based company established in 2012. So we have over 10 years experience in helping students in their search for internships. We are free of charge service to students, so that means that we're not gonna charge you any fees for your recruitment process or your application. We're gonna support your internship with free accommodation and utility bills that are gonna be sourced for you before you arrive, and it's gonna be paid for by the host company. If necessary, we're also gonna provide you with commuting tickets. This internship is unsalaried, so it's an unpaid internship, but we're gonna support you with free accommodation and utility bills. There is a €200 deposit for your accommodation that is gonna be refunded to you in the end of your internship if there's no problems with your accommodation. There are many reasons why the UK is such a famous destination for internships. Some students have to do an internship abroad to finish their degrees. So in this case, it would be a mandatory internship, but some students just want to do an internship after the bachelor's or after the master's to gain some more experience in their fields. So you would be improving your language skills, developing your professional and personal network. You would be traveling in the UK and gaining practical skills and experiences. To start your application, you need to register on our website and upload your CV in English. Please make sure you're uploading the right version of your CV, because if it's not in English, then we can't go through with your application. Then you're going to answer to our eligibility questions. This is just to give us some more information about you and the requirements for your internship, how many months you're available, and other informations that we need to book a meeting with you. Then you're going to apply to the vacancies that match your skills. You can browse on our website. We have many vacancies in different fields, and you can apply to as many as you want. Our recruiter will contact you for an interview if your application meets our eligibility level. And this interview will be an informal chat just to get to know you a little bit better, understand what are your requirements, what kind of projects you did in your degree, and just to know more about you and your personality to make sure that we're going to match you to the right host company, and also that we're going to provide the host company with the talent that they need. You will be giving more information as well on the host company, so you're going to be able to research about them a little bit better, and you're also going to have to write a cover letter. We're going to provide you with a guide, and we're going to later give this cover letter and your CV to the host company. If you're selected, we're going to make a short list with 5 to 6 candidates that we're going to provide to the host company, and then they're going to interview you. If selected by the host company, then you're going to be offered the position, and then you're going to start to apply for the documents that you need to come to the UK. This includes the certificate of sponsorship and the visa. So we're going to talk a little bit more about these documents in a few minutes, but we're going to help you through it. We're going to sort out your accommodation so you don't have to worry about where you're going to be living. We're going to give you all that information before you arrive. And we're also going to let you know when you can buy your flight tickets. So please don't do it before we tell you, just because we need to have all your documentation ready before you book your flights. To come to the UK, we recommend €500 to €600 per month to spend in living expenses, but that depends on if you have a food diet, if you like to travel more, if you like to go out during the weekend. So it depends from person to person, but we recommend around €500 to €600 per month in living expenses. You can fund your internship with Erasmus if you're eligible for it. So to know that, you need to contact your university and ask them about your situation and if you are eligible to apply for an Erasmus grant. And also you need to see if they have any deadlines for their application. So this part you have to contact your university and get back to us. You can also research if you're eligible for regional grants and national grants. Some countries have available grant fundings for students, so you also need to research that, and maybe you're going to be able to have more than one fund. If you're not able to apply for any fund and you can still support yourself, you can apply for our internships. So to come to the UK and apply for one of our internships, you have to, if you don't have a grant, you have to have a mean to support yourself, like either personal savings or your family will support you. About our benefits, as I mentioned before, we're going to provide you with paid accommodation and utility bills. So that includes water, electricity bill, and internet. You're going to be living in a single room in a mixed gender household with other interns and young professionals. So that means that you're going to have a private room, but you have to share the house with other interns and young professionals. If you're allocated and your commute is longer than 30 minutes walk to your host company, then the host company will also provide you with a paid travel ticket. If it's going to be a bus ticket or train ticket, that will depend on where you're living and the city that you're living. And before your arrival, we're also going to provide you with a welcome pack where we're going to list some information about the city that you'll be living in, like supermarkets, fun activities, and the commute that you're going to have.
We're going to focus more on the documentation, so we will go through certificate of sponsorship, the visa, etc. So of course after Brexit, things have changed for the EU students. So EU students as well as non-EU students right now need to have a certificate of sponsorship in order to work in the UK, and then they also need to obtain with that the visa. So ESPA takes care of the whole COS process, so you don't have to worry about that at all. We only need some paperwork from you for that one, but otherwise we take care of everything. However, you will have to do the visa yourself. We will be able to help you through the application, so we will always guide you. If you need anything, you can always email us and we will help you as fast as possible. We recommend applying at least 2 months before your internship start. So because depending on your passport and also generally the visa might take a bit longer. So depending on that, we always recommend to apply 2 months before, just to make sure that you will get your paperwork in time. So a bit more about the certificate of sponsorship. You will need some documentation for that. For example, you will need a valid passport. So this passport has to be valid for at least 6 months after the end of your internship. So you cannot have just an ID, you'd need a passport. And yeah, please check for the date in order for us to know if you are able to come, and also if you need to renew it. We also need a university enrollment letter. This is usually the paperwork that you get once you apply for your degree. It's just a small paper saying that you are enrolled in your current university this year. We also need an updated CV in English, so as my colleague said before, it has to be in English, and it also has to be updated, so please put your current degree as well as your expected graduation date. We also need a signed ESPA internship agreement, so this is not the official agreement that you will have with the host company, but rather the agreement that you have with ESPA, just to make sure that you understand the costs that would come along with the internship and also how our process is. So once you have given us all the paperwork and we applied and submitted the request for the certificate of sponsorship, it usually takes up to 72 hours, and then you will be able to start the visa application. So more on the visa process. So you will have to apply for the government authorized exchange visa. but do not worry, we will send you the link to apply for that one, so you will not have to look it up. The process is also different depending on if you have a biometric passport or not. So we will go a bit through that more into detail afterwards. But yeah, if needed, our team will always guide you through the steps. So yeah, do not hesitate to email us and ask us questions if you have any. Also with this visa, you are able to work up to 20 hours per week outside of your internship. So for example, for the weekends. But keep in mind that your internship might be a bit more busy, so you might not have as much energy afterwards, but this is totally up to you. Yeah, so if you have a biometric passport, the process is pretty simple. We will provide you with the link, and then you will only have to fill out an online application form. They will ask you to pay approximately 310 euros. This depends on where you are applying from, but again, this is like a governmental thing, like we do not have any say into that. You will have to pay the 310 euros, and then you will only have to download an app to verify your passport. So this is very easy. It will take maybe up to an hour, depending on if you are stuck somewhere. But yeah, it's pretty easy and pretty straightforward. You should expect to get the visa within 3 weeks, so depending on the demand, so sometimes it's faster. This really depends on how many people applied at the same time for the visa. Now, if you have a non-biometric passport, you will still get the same link to fill out the visa application form, but after that you will have to book an appointment at the closest TLS office. So this depends on where you are based from. It could be like the nearest biggest city. It could be very close to you, it could be a bit further, that always depends on where you are. And you also may need to pay for that appointment. This again depends on the country, the city, the TLS office. So it could be 60 euros, it could be more, that always depends. So you will have to check that for yourself. And once you have the appointment, you will have to leave your passport there, and they will stamp and put the visa in there, and we'll ship it back to you within 2 weeks. So that is why you should expect this process to take up to 5 to 6 weeks in total, just because of the appointment and then them having to ship your visa and your passport. So a quick summary of the costs. Once you have been selected for the internship and you signed the agreement with the host company, you will have to pay 500 euros for the COS. So this is actually not the total amount of the COS. It actually is more expensive, but the company pays more than 50% of the COS. So you will only have to pay 500 euros. You also will have to pay for the visa application, which is around 310 euros. And lastly, you will have a 200 euro accommodation deposit to pay. That is, of course, all of those costs will be only when you sign the internship agreement with the company. So you are sure that you're going to get the internship. You have signed everything. So it's not before that you would have to pay anything at all. But yeah, the 200 accommodation deposit will be refundable, so it would be, you would receive it back once you finish your internship. Also, if you are a UK-based student, this does not apply to you at all. You will not have to have a COS since you are already living in the UK, and therefore also not a visa. However, you still have an accommodation deposit of £500. So yes, depending on if you're a UK-based student or if you're a non-EU or EU student, the cost might differ. So thank you very much. I hope you don't have any questions, but if you do, and something is still unclear, please do not hesitate to email us at the first email at espauk.com, or also you can message us on WhatsApp at the last number.